Kurt Isakson here with the brass tacks and hard facts using the Ram XD in a high-rise building being fed by a standpipe. Okay, we're talking about using the Ram XD on a fire floor in a high-rise building or a mid-rise building being fed by a standpipe. As with any standpipe operation, we want to bring our gate valve, a control device that we know works, and get it hooked into the standpipe system. Once we get it hooked in, we would flush the system, make sure it's good. One of the most important pieces of equipment in any standpipe operation, whether it's the Ram XD or a standard 2.5-inch smoothbore nozzle, will go on the device in a way that the standpipe firefighter can see that gauge to get a reading. Last, we're going to hook up our elbow to minimize the kinking on our attack line when we're hooking into the standpipe. Always remembering that your gauge needs to be visible at all times to assess and continually evaluate the pressure on the floor below the operation. Make our final connection with our 2.5-inch hose is going to the floor above. Everything's good, ready to charge. So we've completed the hookup to the standpipe system on a floor below the fire floor. Max now has a 2.5 on the shoulder with the Ram in the other hand. We're going to proceed up to the fire floor, hook up flaker hose up the stairs to the floor above so we can get a control of the fire floor. The Ram XD is used anytime you have something beyond your standard 2.5. This can be used in a high-rise building on an upper floor where you may have a 3,000 or 4,000 square foot punt house, or it could be a floor of fire in a mid-rise or a commercial building. Anywhere where you need something to achieve like a 500 gallon a minute and operating off the standpipe. The one thing we need to remember is that this is 80 PSI at the tip, so we're going to have to, at the floor below, make sure that we're providing that amount of pressure to operate this. It's going to be different than your 2.5 at 50 PSI at the tip. Max is going to set down the Ram. Some people have talked about pre-connecting it through trial and error. We found that's more complicated to have the 2.5-inch hose hooked to the Ram. So Max here is hooking the 2.5-inch hose to the Ram, and we have Brian flaking his hose up to the floor above to make it a more simplistic push, because once we take control of this actual hallway, we're going to proceed down to the actual fire apartment. Are you ready to go, Max?
Ready for water.
Charge the standpipe, charge the standpipe, charge the standpipe. So we're calling for water. We got water coming. We got Max is going to open it up on the fire floor, achieving 500 gallons a minute. He's going to keep that thing, get it down low. Down low. He's pushing in up high a little bit, up high. Back down low, down low. All right, let's shut it down. Okay, so we've taken control of the fire floor hallway with the Ram XD flowing 500 gallons a minute, putting a solid punch, cooling this hallway. Now we own the hallway. We're going to advance down the hallway to the actual fire room, fire apartment, or fire office part of the building. So let's push forward. So now we're in position at the fire apartment, fire room, and we're going to flow 500 gallons a minute. Open it up. So this is a Ram being used on a larger fire in a mid-rise or high-rise to get that bigger penetration, higher volume of water to get a knockdown. The one thing we need to remember is we're operating off of a standpipe, so we're going to try to achieve 80 PSI at the Ram, so we need to take that into consideration on the floor below.